Right, okay, we'll talk about something else. There are books, perfect. Should we axe public libraries to save councils cash? Councils around the country are looking at ways to save money in their budgets, with several having discussed going into the library, clearing the shelves, taking away the books, turning it into something else, getting rid of the staff, just to save money. So Slough Borough Council have said closing half their libraries would save them about £200,000 a year. North Somerset Council have even suggested that residents could donate £1,000 each in an attempt to keep their 12 libraries open. Can you imagine? In Scotland, librarians have appealed to the government for urgent support over severe cuts proposed by several councils. Aberdeenshire may lose 13 libraries. Murray in Scotland has earmarked 7 for closure and 5 are at risk in Perth and Kinross. The councils say fewer people are using libraries because they're accessing information in new ways. But listen, we don't want to lose this, do we, Albie? Do we? I mean, accessing information, how? What are they doing?
The argument would be that a lot of people, rather than going to public libraries, are now accessing their information from their smartphones. We're all walking around with supercomputers in our pockets. So perhaps fewer people are going to public libraries than there were before. Although, having said that, the use of public libraries between April 2023 and March 2024 increased from 24 to 30%. So it seems from the data that people are still using public libraries. But the point is that the reason why public libraries are having to close and that councils' budgets are stretched is because we don't want to pay any more council tax. And then also we're seeing this dual problem of age-related spending, mostly on social care, increasing significantly, with demand for adult social care, which is provided through local government, reaching a record high, 2 million requests.
And it's going to get higher.
Last year, and
we're all living to be 100. Yeah.
According to the King's Fund.
Yeah.
So this is going to happen more and more as age-related spending goes up. Other things will be cut.
Oh, I don't know what the solution is, but you can't lose the libraries, can you?
You can't lose the libraries. Libraries are so important. Books are so important. You can read whatever you like online, but a book is...
But the argument is, Nina, that libraries are only used by people who can already read. That's middle-class people.
No,
working class people can read.
Yeah, but it's a middle class. No, they're packed with middle-class people who are getting more bang for their buck out of their own council taxes.
There are so many stories of people who said that their lives were transformed when they were young, who were brought up in households without books or access to books.
Well, that's good to hear.
And the other thing is, they are hubs now, particularly when pensioners are having to find warm spaces. Libraries are the hub of a community. People can go, pensioners can go into, middle-class pensioners or whoever you like to call them, they can go into a library and be warm.
I agree. I was arguing without any conviction, I have to say, because I do, whenever I go, well, you probably know the library I mean,
yes.
It's by the end of Duke's Road,
yes,
because we live near each other. And it brings me to tears almost, because that's where I spent a lot of time with my kids.
Yeah.
And just to be able to go and sit them down and take a book off the
yes.
shelf and they sit there and read it is amazing. You have to buy the book. You don't have to even take it out of the library. You can sit in the library and read it.
Absolutely wonderful. And it opens the world to you. A library opens the world. It lets you see possibilities. But
Albie is a hard-headed guy. And he's saying the reality is we might have 30 people who need a care home place and you might have to turn the library into a care home.
Well, in some terms, you might say that all the money that would have gone into funding a library would have to be funding social care for someone in need. And you simultaneously argue, Nina, that we should keep the winter fuel allowance, I believe, but also that we should keep public libraries open.
I do believe the winter fuel allowance should be means tested, but I think they should raise the threshold level by £200 to offset it.
Right, that's a cop-out, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a solution.
The point is that we can't have it all. And there will be people that will be saying, we want to keep the winter fuel allowance and we want to keep the libraries. There's a finite pot of money and we can't afford to spend it on both things. So which one do we choose?
Well, we've got to have priority. Well, look, as Morrissey said, there's more to life than books, but not much more.
Well, exactly.
You've got to prioritise the books. Irene in Essex, hello.
Good morning, panel. Nina said a lot of what I want to say. I take a person to the library weekly. He's a pensioner and he enjoys going in and choosing his books. It's a warm place. I see lots of mums with kids in there. They also sell talking tapes that people can listen to who can't read. And the second thing is, I'm a therapist, and when I recommend a book, I quite often suggest they go to the library and order it, a self-help book for themselves.
Yeah.
Also, the other thing that I thought the moment this was aired that they're going to do this is I watched the documentary on Amazon, and they want it to be the world of books. And I just think you're helping Amazon out a lot. And they don't need to be helped out, trust me.
Yeah, well, that's just true. There are other ways of getting... No, you're right. I mean, borrowing books seems a bit old-fashioned now, because books are like newspapers. You buy it, really cheaply, you read it. I don't like throwing them away, but we're almost in that situation.
But they're not that cheap, Irene, are they? So, I mean, are you saying that Amazon should be taxed more and the money should go to fund libraries?
What a great
There's
idea.
a thought.
Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
You'd win an election with that.
Good.
And the documentary on Amazon, that was all formed in a garage, was on one book. And they were trusting that they would become the bookshop of the world. And I think it's disgusting. I hope they don't do that. I really do pray they don't do it.
I think at the beginning, Jeff Bezos and his wife, they were selling books out of their garage. But what Bezos very quickly thought was, I'm going to sell more than books. And I don't really go onto Amazon to buy books anymore. I buy everything else there.
I'm a big Amazon fan, personally.
But say again?
I'm a big Amazon fan,
yes, but
personally.
They should be taxed properly.
Yes, look, I think there's a question about business taxes internationally. But I just want to ask Irene a question. Irene, if you were making a choice between whether or not you were going to fund an older person's social care, fund perhaps a disabled child having to be driven to school, or a public library, someone working in a public library, what would you choose to fund?
Look, with the government at the moment, we can afford all of that. Is it Albie, your name?
Yes, that's my name.
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, but you don't need to give me that choice, because our government can afford to do this. They're just shutting... They're taking away all the things that the public enjoy, and the libraries is just the last straw.
All right, Irene, I've got loads of calls on this, actually, so we'll see if they agree with you or not. Derek in Northamptonshire, you don't agree with Irene. You think the libraries should go?
That's pretty much my view, with the exception of making one particular point, which is perhaps slightly divergent from the issues you've raised already, which is that if it would bring about a reduction in council tax, yes, I would favour it. But the strange thing is, we've been producing books for centuries, but we're still using them, surprisingly. Yet technology has really left them behind. Consider films, for example. We don't use 16mm or 35mm film, much physical film.
Well, I've cinemas, though.
It's all been replaced by
I don't know.
electronic.
I don't know. I've got 66 Agatha Christie's, and my daughter's just come back from university. She read the ABC Murders yesterday, and today she's reading Halloween Party, and she's reading them all in that format, and she's 20.
Yeah. Derek,
it's not dead, Derek.
Derek, do you read books?
Well, I do, but mainly I'm interested in reference books, which you
I
cannot
thought you
actually
were.
borrow from a library. They have to remain in the library. But I'm interested in science and technology. I'm not that interested, I'm afraid, sorry to say, in fiction.
OK, well, listen, Derek, thank you very much. Yeah, I sense Derek might have encyclopedias at home, because that's a very good thing. Amanda's in Chester. Hi, Amanda.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. I mean, I always get very upset by any bad news about libraries. Can we afford to lose them?
Absolutely not. It's more than books. Libraries are the heart of the community. There's, my local library, for example, they have friendship groups, they have after-school club. They're it's not just about books.
The staff are lovely as well, aren't they? I mean, if you work in a library, you're not doing it to get rich, that's for sure.
No, you're not.
No.
And one of your callers has just said books are quite cheap, but books aren't cheap. A paperback is about £10, isn't it now?
Well, I was thinking of second-hand books and all that, yeah. Amanda, thank you so much. We've got so much on this. Bernadette in Merseyside, have you got a favourite library, or do you think we can lose them?
No way, Jamie. Correct you, darling. Good morning, Anna. Good morning to the team.
Hello.
It's not... it doesn't belong to the middle class, darling. I was traumatised my first day at school, and I didn't learn to read till I was 7. And my dad took me to the library, and to me, reading is still a great joy.
Wow.
They supply the council threatened to close our libraries some years ago, and there was absolute uproar. Yeah. People use computers there. I use audio tape.
Listen, Bernadette, we all agree they're brilliant. The problem, as Albie says, he's hard-headed, this guy. He's got a calculator, right? And he's just looking, the numbers don't add up here because councils have been told they must fund care homes. They haven't got any choice. And as we all get older, they're going to have to pay more and more money to care homes, and it's the libraries that are going to take it.
Well, to be honest, the people go to the library to use it and to keep warm, Jeremy. And as the lady said before, they're the heart of the community. Yeah. And the council should look at themselves and cut. We don't need top-heavy executives and start with their salaries. We don't always get the service that we're paying for.
Good point.
So that's another subject.
No, but you raise a good. That will go so far if you lose some of the executives. I don't know.
Well, I mean, this council in particular is saying they're going to save £200,000 a year from closing 2 of the libraries. That is perhaps 1 or 2 salaries of a top council executive. So maybe Bernadette's got a point.
I wonder, there's a cinema near where I live which was closing, and volunteers reopened it, and it's been an amazing thing. And I wonder whether that's what will happen to libraries, is they will be staffed by volunteers.
They can't go. I mean,
listen, I agree with you, and I think they're magical places. I really do. Thank you, Bernadette. Thanks, everyone. Sometimes we don't always have to argue about stuff. It's just in the end, as Albie's pointed out, the bottom line is kind of remorseless on us.